Pretty much anytime I ask for video suggestions, topic suggestions, I get this question. This one and service animals. I will also be doing a video on that pretty soon. Just to be clear, I am talking about hunting in the developed world. I'm not talking about hunting in like a isolated hunter-gatherer tribe. If hunting is how you survive, that's not what I'm talking about. So assuming you're not in such a situation, you very likely are not if you're watching this video, yeah, hunting is not vegan. The products of hunting are not vegan in themselves. Hunted meat is not a vegan food. Hunting out of necessity to, for instance, protect crops, so shooting rabbits to keep the population under control on a vegetable farm, could still be vegan, but eating that meat, eating the rabbit meat, would not be vegan. Whether something is vegan or not is not the only question. It does not encompass all of ethics. So while hunting may not be vegan, it could still be ethical. And eating that hunted meat could still be ethical. We can think of non-vegan food choices that could still be ethical. Something like oysters, very, very likely not sentient. They don't have a brain. Freeganism. Eating hunted meat could be something like freeganism if the animal legitimately had to die for other reasons. Kind of like eating roadkill, but not quite. Someone who eats roadkill probably would not be unconsciously incentivized to like swerve their car into an animal. Although I feel like the type of people who are eating roadkill probably don't have cars. However, someone who's eating the rabbits they kill for crop protection, they might be disincentivized from employing non-lethal control methods, like installing fences of galvanized wire that reach below the ground to stop them from burrowing. Regardless of whether or not eating hunted meat is vegan, I think an argument could be made for its ethicality if it is actually vegan. We have to ask, number one, is the hunting really necessary? And number two, how much do the people who believe it is necessary overlook alternatives because they'd prefer to hunt and eat the meat anyway? Deer hunting is a great example. A deer hunter might say they're doing it to control the population, to protect the environment, for wildlife conservation. Hunting licenses and fees are a major source of revenue for state hunting agencies, these hunting, fishing, wildlife agencies, over 50%. These organizations manage the land for hunting, and their goal is not to reduce the number of animals on that land, their goal is to increase it. Hatching fisheries, clearing forests to increase habitat, and they are really, really good at it. Their policies brought the U.S. white-tailed deer population from 300,000 to 30 million in 100 years. So they got the population back up to where it was pre-colonization. This is not conservation. It's a state-run farming operation. And they've maintained these numbers while sustaining high rates of hunting. In other words, they use these practices to maintain these populations because of hunting. It's a weak circular justification whether you're talking about population reduction or conservation. The real conservation that happens, it's not because of hunting. 4 federal agencies manage more than 600 acres of land. These areas provide habitat for thousands of vertebrate species, including hundreds of endangered species. The more than $16 billion cost to manage these lands is shared more or less equally by all taxpayers, 82% of whom neither hunt nor fish. The only places with major overpopulation issues that aren't intentionally created for hunting are the suburbs. Deer are edge dwellers. They like to eat grass, but they also like to hide out in thickets. So you need lots of grazing area and lots of cover to maximize populations, like large lawns and grassy roadside banks next to trees. The suburbs. These environments increase the deer carrying capacity of the ecosystem in the same way that the management practices do. It's just that in this case, it's accidental. Can recreational hunting help reduce the population here? Hunting bucks, which is usually the only kill that's allowed, has virtually no impact on population, generation to generation. That's because one male can fertilize a lot of females. This is why wildlife agencies issue permits for bucks. They are looking for a sustainable population to make more bucks. Even modest hunting of does, female deer, has virtually no effect, either because of increased food supply or because something about the hunting leads to compensatory reproduction. So the does, instead of having a single birth, they end up having twins or triplets, more females are born. Regular major culling operations are really just a band-aid. And by major, I mean a very large, sustained cull with lots of hunters participating right next to a large human population. Sounds real safe. What about eating the deer, eating the meat that someone killed during a cull? Probably not going to happen. The carcasses are typically collected and processed for donation to food shelters. So is participating in a cull where you don't even get to keep the meat, is that ethical? I mean, cognitive bias would be reduced, and you could argue it's a necessary evil in urban and suburban areas. Vehicle collisions are a substantial risk to human health, but of course that assumes there aren't better options, and of course there are better options. Contraception with concerted effort is effective at reducing populations over time. It's a bit of a band-aid too, but certainly a lot safer than shooting guns or bows right next to people's homes. A much more reliable solution is unfortunately a cultural one. We need to change the environment to make it less suitable for deer. So fences to restrict access to food, planting ornamental crops and hedges that deer don't like to eat, signs and deer crossings including underpasses to reduce traffic collisions, and ultimately, endorsing and participating in these culls probably does not incentivize municipalities to invest in alternatives. Maybe you can make an argument for it if the city is just doing it in the short term while they look for better options. A lot of people have asked, why can't you use sort of a chemical birth control, some other options for that? But the reality is that the population of the deer itself has gotten to where those mitigation measures are less effective and are not as effective until we're able to lower those numbers. But this could just be cities trying to deflect criticism instead of actually building a solid plan for management and population control reduction without culls. It's hard to say. But erring on the side of shooting a bunch of animals because maybe the government will do something better someday, I don't know, I'm having a real hard time believing that's the ethical choice here. So basically, while I believe it is possible to hunt ethically and to eat ethical hunted meat, it's highly unlikely. There are just way too many variables involved, and it's so likely the hunting is unnecessary, and of course the incentive is there. The people eating hunted meat probably really want to eat that meat, so they're more likely to tell themselves whatever their conscience wants to hear in order to keep eating that meat. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video and subscribe and turn on your notifications if you want to be notified when I upload a video. Thank you so much to my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. I do upload 2 exclusive videos there a month for $5 plus patrons. I just uploaded my controversial video for the month of August, and we'll have my first video for September up very soon. I also have some shirts, and I have I actually made a fuck alignment. Why am I doing my hands like I'm holding it up? Here we go. Yeah, I made a fuck alignment shirt. It's just, that's literally all it is. It's like my anesthetic and sensate unit shirt. I just made it for me because someone said you should make a shirt. And I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty funny. But I didn't want to like put any effort into it or have partner like draw something, you know? Some like praying hands or something underneath. But I guess if you guys want one, I guess I can put it in the store. I don't know, it feels weird because it's just font. I say it's just font, it's just text. No! Man, I love this stuff. There's so much in there. Oh, it's coming out. Never mind. This is pretty much all I've been wearing for a while now. This Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. Juicy. I just think of the Juicy shorts and the velour. Remember that? Proud to say I never wore that. Although I did wear those awful like sequin flats. You remember when flats were really popular? The shoes? I had these hideous like teal sequin ones. Why? But yeah, this stuff's great. And I use the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm Vanilla Beige. It smells really nice. The other one does too. I have some of the lip gloss stuff, the smell, oh, it just makes me sick and I can't use it. I don't know, lip gloss for me is the only one that really makes sense to buy like the nicer stuff, the more expensive stuff, because the cheaper lip gloss, it's so sticky. Whereas this and the Tarte one aren't. They're just nice and smooth and moisturizing.